I don't have more than 20 or 30 minutes, so I'm not going to bother sending out text message notifications. But I'm testing a service at this location. I've moved a slight upgrade into a different location. The internet connection is way stronger. I think I might be able to maintain the 24/7 audio stream, and I'm turning that on right now. So if you're listening at infiniteplane.live on just the audio stream, it's about to go back to 24/7. All right, let me see if I can find an audio source. I was live this morning on Resistance Rising, and if you missed that, I did send out a link to the channel, and as soon as they make that available on their platform notification, in case any of you missed it, it was about maybe an hour-long conversation about the flat Earth movement and the shady figures around it. All right, so we are now officially live on the audio stream. So if you're listening at Radio King, Paranormal Radio, or any of these other places, in sync now with the people here on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you want a wrench and you don't have one, just speak up and I'll make sure you get those. And yes, we're now mirrored. So we're on the audio stream. We're on a couple YouTube channels. Buzz Dean says, "Where have you been?" Where have you been? I've never missed a day in years. We don't. If you ever don't hear from Infinite Plane Society, it's because the immune system of the media has temporarily silenced us. But we're back on. I had an interruption. I was sort of, I guess you could say, well, inconvenienced. But I'm in the process of fixing everything. How's the audio? If anyone out here can let me know. It says, what are your thoughts on the Owen and Jim Bob spat? You know, I looked at that very closely. And I actually empathize with Owen Benjamin on this regard because it seems to me, and this is a tactic that I've seen used before, there's a passive aggressiveness in Jim Bob. I've seen passive aggressive types triggering direct types and then punishing that person for their responses. So I get the idea that it was a contrived situation, Owen Benjamin raging on the phone. Well, it wouldn't have happened if the guy had been direct. And the fact that he used that recording to bash him, to me, that's just, it's almost a setup. All that seriously. And it's not a new residence yet. It's just a weekly hotel spot, but it's only better than where I was. A little bit of a reverb, somebody said. Interesting. Well, I wanted to check everything out first before I 24/7 stream. I don't have my usual setup with OBS, but that's not a big deal. I spent a lot of time in the last few days watching CNN, checking out the propaganda straight from the source, to see what the masses of peeve. Okay, Benton says it's cutting in and out. We'll just keep on letting me know how the audio is. And I'm going to try to get into a new place as soon as possible. The only reason I'm able to maintain this is because of the support of the think tank members. So we're not having any significant interruptions and the news unabated. Just today, my latest was released as an audiobook. If you go to uberdeath.com, Uber Death, Memoir of a Body Transplant, has just been released as an audiobook narrated by Tiffany Rudd. You can find that on Amazon and anywhere else that audiobooks are available. End of last year, going through my manuscripts and bringing them into publication and then into audio. That way I could increase my monthly revenue here and maintain a continuity of live streaming. And between these last two audio books, I think it's going to make it starting next month. So again, thanks for everyone here who supports the channel. And if you get that link, uberdeath.com, it's on ebook, paperback and audio. And it's about my time as a body transporter for the various morgues, funeral homes. Also covers my time doing crime scene homicide cleanup. My most recent stint as a more long distance decedent transporter. If you check it out, uberdeath.com. The cover art is Midjourney created, AI assisted. All right, Baja Pickleball says it cuts out a bit. Okay, well, if this is cutting out, which doesn't surprise me, I will probably this morning and just go directly off my phone. During the interview this morning on Since Rising, I was using my phone and it was Zoom. It's Johnny Circucci, Since Rising. I'll put a link in the chat below. But as I said, when I get that audio from, I will make sure that you all get it. Yeah, I used to drive a hearse. In fact, the last time I was driving the body transporting van, but then I was also driving the hearse, mostly for dropping off flowers at the gravesite before the actual interments. I was doing that in Ojai and Ventura, California. It wasn't bad. My gig was grab the limo, grab the flower, change them, and then drive off. I didn't drive families around. I don't need an audio interface for sound processing. I'm on a laptop in a hotel. My main computer workstation is in a box until I can get into a stable. It's not really anything that we can do here other than just as far as it's not perfect at the moment, but it's nothing. And it could have been nothing. I could have been completely sidetracked, and it didn't happen because nobody here wants it to be sidetracked, and nor do I. Other more important things, yes, and I should be getting a response from this today, actually. No, 2 days ago, I with a motion to serve one of the defendants by publication or by email. I don't expect it will be rejected. In that motion, I specified that my cyber stalker is a White House communications agency person who they will all know, and that I'm going to try to house, or maybe possibly at Mar-a-Lago, but I would prefer to have it done by email, which will be more direct. And I don't think he's going to put a barrier before that, and it needs to happen. Suing Google, YouTube, and this third party. They were collaborating, unwittingly perhaps, but they had accepted this person's false claims that he was me, and they have given hits over my content since 2018. And I'm undoing that with this lawsuit right now. It's one of the reasons I fell behind on everything is I was just so immersed in lawfare and publishing and maintaining productive output in the eBay store that everything felt catching up fast. And as I said, these new audiobooks are going to represent a new revenue stream, continue into perpetuity. I don't know the lifespan on Uber Death, but I think it has mass appeal. And I think a lot of people have a morbid curiosity that the book will satisfy. And it's written in a very plain sort of way that and I intentionally removed stuff, or I had some idea, I had some content that I thought was a little graphic, and I had to kind of walk it back. Rocco says, how much faith do you have in the legal system? I don't have any faith. I know how to use it. I know how laws work. It's as simple as that. Somebody crashes into your car, you don't even have to file a claim. The insurance adjuster says damages are assumed. If somebody defames your character, damages are not assumed. You'd have to prove that. It's all about, obviously, facts and evidence. I think it's purely objective, and it doesn't require faith. It requires knowledge of facts. I don't like the cliche that our legal system's corrupt and it's broken. That's a misunderstanding of how it works. It's not a passive thing. It requires application of legal principle. And in this case, we're looking at infringement over my trademark rights, but it's not like you can call 911 and have the police do something. It's not like you can call a lawyer and have them figure it out for you. Most lawyers don't have a case. Most lawyers have no clue, in my opinion, as to how to proceed in such a matter here. A lot of them it's very specific. When you're talking about trademark law, it's a very specific thing. Some people trademarked in let's say you're an author and you publish a Well, your name is trademarked, your right of publicity. But when it comes to federally recognized trademarks, are those essential? It really depends. And I've made a very strong case for 4.5 years of trademark infringement, and I have more than 40 specific examples of bad registration with the intention of malicious intent, with the intention of traffic from me. That's provable. And just like with a car crash, when it comes to domain squatting, it doesn't require a trial. Damages are assumed. Statutory damages for New York, where he was like $100,000 per violation, triple if I can prove malice, which I can. My low ball estimate for damages that will be no trial necessary for the domain squatting is like 3.5 million if I triple it. That's not including the civil suits that will follow, not the small claims one, but the larger suits. And it doesn't include whatever the court's going to make him pay for what FTC told me. It's 4th-degree felony. When you take somebody's name or take somebody's voice and it's monetized, yeah, that's actually, to me, that's checks all the marks off. So it's not about faith in the legal system. It's about citing right statutes. And I've done my 30-page damage claim for domain squatting is going to stand. Once he's served, I just go right into collections. Now, as far as getting the FBI to act, I have numerous FBI reports, and those have all been submitted to the judge. I have 4 witnesses, and just in the last month, I caught him 4 times. He had hacked my Vimeo, WordPress, and he had hacked, there was something else. He tried to get into Patreon, he tried to get into LinkedIn, but these hackings were all done to Kickstarter. He hacked into my Kickstarter account, vandalized everything. Now, what I've done is I've contacted every one of these companies, put them in touch with the FBI, ensured that the FBI report was included in my entire, just showing that I have 4 different companies that have dealt with this guy who's real time trying to hack my life apart, basically getting into whatever he can. And I suggested to the judge in this letter that I'm intimidated, that the defendant to intimidate me for suing him. And I'm thinking, by piling on all these criminal civil suit, I'm going to force this system to work for me. And that's what's going to happen. What I have done with this lawsuit, by dragging YouTube and Google into it, I definitely guaranteed that this person gets the attention he deserves public. And it will go public that I have a viable case that I can actually claim, and I have claimed, is complicit in 4th-degree felony identity theft. I've actually filed an FBI report against YouTube. And my claim is strong. My claim is, it doesn't even require anything else from me. I think I've already put everything out there. And once he's in custody, I go right into collections. And, what's more, this is also getting me more into just formally registering stuff. So just a couple of days ago, I went ahead and I put down to register the author name Tim Osman with the USPTO. The reason I did so is he tried to register it. Think about that. My stalker realizes he's being this trademark infringement stuff, that there are criminal implications to some of his actions. So what does he do? Well, he tried to register Tim Osman as a trademark. His attorney, the trademark attorney he enlisted, was doing his due diligence, researching it, and he found that somebody's already got a trademark claim, that I've been selling books under this name internationally since 2010. And they said, hey, it's a coincidental thing here. Someone's trying to register. And I said, oh, I know who that person is. And he's trying to evade justice here. But they couldn't do it, obviously. It doesn't work that way. Like I said, when it comes to trademarks, you have to do your due diligence. You have to see if it's been registered. And he thought he could skirt that. Yeah, if the audio is bad, it's probably connection. I'm just using a headset. I don't have like I said, I'm not in a studio. And everything that would belong in the studio is packed. I'm just going to be winging it on my phone and this laptop until I get to a better place, which it shouldn't take that long. We'll see. Joined by the HBI3. Thank you for joining. Just a few more minutes here. I'm testing the audio. It looks like it's pretty terrible from all accounts here. I'll probably go onto my phone after this. And I may even just start doing a lot of pre-recorded content as well for the next couple of weeks. Some say it sounds fine. It's always tricky though. I never know. People are audiophiles and they hear something wrong with literally everything. And I just ignore them. There are those who troll. Used to be an old troll. They're just like, oh, it sounds terrible. So you spend all your time talking about audio and testing things. But I'll take your word. What I don't have access to is background music and that kind of thing, or screen sharing, clips, which are, it's a huge part of what we do. There's a lot of clips I have to go through and play. Well, I'll be, like I said, look, once I get look, this is the thing. Since 2017, it was a self-financing operation, and we made money to invest in projects, art shows, doing, little commission type things. We were investing in projects like billboards, a lot of things, entrepreneurial stuff, into publishing, basically into organizing. We raised nearly $10,000 for Mad Mike Hughes that first summer. The revenue was coming in, and it was very easy to make things happen. And that's one of the reasons they channeled down. They cut it off. And so, yeah, I'm a little low on the budget. I don't have the equipment or the computer that I would like to have, or that would be ideal or optimal. But that's going to happen with Goldfinch's money. That's why I went after him. That's why I filed these lawsuits. They're going to look. I'm going to get enough out of to pay for a decent studio setup. I'm not looking to retire. I clean out his bank account because of all of this domain squatting and 4 years of stalking and hacking. Even if I do that, I don't plan on doing anything but increasing the amount of hours and the amount of productivity and all of the projects that have been on the back burner. The only reason I'm not at this 16 hours a day is I've been divided and it's all been because of the interference of a White House connected hacker who's made it impossible for this channel to be monetized. Now, I'm not complaining because, a lot of channels are shut down for the inability to monetize. I just diversify. For example, or that I create that kind of revenue with some audiobooks. And the fact is, they can shut down YouTube channels. They can, a lot of people don't even know that we've never shut up. I never shut up. But people think, well, maybe he got shut down a couple of years ago or so. Nope, never. But again, I just proceed knowing the interference, everything would be going swimmingly, knowing that eventually the interference will be gone. So I'm just proceeding as though we're not bothered by the distractions, which we're really not. The think tank rolls on. But I'll do something about the audio and this here. I just wanted to do a test here and see how things are. Good news is one of the main 1,000+ subs has just been reopened. That one was shut down for 90 days. But anyway, everything's looking good, short-term and long-term. We will have some sort of results from this any day now in terms of a response from Google, YouTube to my evidence that they accepted an email, spoofed email from someone pretending to be me. I mean, I have all the evidence. This is what's insane. It's insane that, and look, I'm an excellent fisherman, ISH. I was in telemarketing for years, military. I would do side gigs, and I was always doing telemarketing. And I was this place called West Telemarketing. And out of 1,200 people, I climbed up to the top 6 in the sales. And I was assigned to a program where we were consolidating loans. My job was to make cold calls and convince people from their list to consolidate. On these calls, I was required to obtain a driver's license number and a social security number on the first contact, which doesn't sound possible today, but it was possible a few years ago. But 6 hours of calls, you would expect to get 2 or 3. Most people only got 1. I was getting 6. And they adjusted their scripts, my approach, and they were listening in on these calls. And my approach was phishing. And how do you get someone to give you this information that they wouldn't give you ordinarily? And a lot of it was about phrasing. How do you state something in such a way? And I guess my point is, I've hold on, I got a little bit of a glitchy here. Distracted here. I have to leave in just a moment. Where was I? I got sort of sidetracked here. Again, the audio is working. I was just checking it, the 24/7 audio. Anyway, I have to go. I hate to cut this short, but thanks everyone for the feedback. Again, I'm sending out a notification for this morning's. This is all just a test, and everything's coming back together nicely. Spirit Jordan says, I've seen civil suits go on 10 years if he has influence. Well, this isn't just a civil suit. What you're missing here is that, okay, we've got a criminal aggravated cyber stalking. We have as in he literally hacked into a Kickstarter account, which has access to financial information. He got caught hacking by Kickstarter, and they gave me back access to my account. He did the same to 3 other accounts. So I have 4. And not only that, but the trial is it's gonna be set in the next month. Like, I've never had a problem winning civil suits. I sued a company that didn't, when I was doing crime scene cleanup, I was actually doing things as an independent contractor. I sued them twice and won both times by default and collected both times. I know how to. The only reason I went after this person I did is he's collectible. I've had a lot of trolls, worse in some ways, but none of them are collectible. This one is. But the difficulty is isolating him. But this is another twist, and this is why this is such a big case, is that I say he's a White House connected hacker. I can't overstate what a high-profile target this is, politically speaking. We're someone who is arguably the most influential QAnon, major Q promoter. Already he should have crosshairs on him. Then you find out that he's a close confidant of Donald J. Trump and Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka. Talking about someone who's friends with Joe Rogan. I mean, he checks all these boxes that from a leftist perspective, they're going to see this guy as a target, a political target. They're like, well, you got this Trump-connected hacker doing all this dirty work to censor people on the internet. And this flies in the face of his supposed allegiance to patriotism and MAGA, that he's acting like a fascist. But I think it's a scandal. It's a major scandal that was a connected reporter who's a black hat hacker and who's targeted me for several years. And just the fact that he's close to Trump makes him an appeasing target. And I'm shining a light on it. And I think the brighter a light we shine, the more of a scene we make here, more likely we'll get something to happen expeditiously. It's only taken 5 years because I don't have the power he does. And just to give you some background, before he was doxxed, I learned a lot of things about him through hints, and he's tried his best to hide the stuff. But he was on the board of directors of EAS, my sports supplement, when it sold to Abbott Laboratories in like 2005. That was a $300 deal. Spirit says, if he's in the Fed group, he can drop a criminal case too. I hope I'm wrong. I think you're 100% wrong. How do you have a person publicly exposed committing these crimes? It's going to go public. And then it just doesn't get like, I'm sorry, but that's just not how it works. The difficulty is getting this stuff publicized. Find criminal complaints, you can file FBI reports. I went to the FBI multiple times throughout 2019, and I gave up on them. I realized they're going nowhere. I'm the one who doxed him. They couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. I found out who he was. They couldn't do it. Hackings, I overturned those hackings. I got it back. And I got statements from these 4 to the judge without the need of a subpoena. Like, I basically crucified this person. There's nothing he can do. And there's no way he can get out of this. And I put a big target on him with this lawsuit and with these motions that he will not be able to erase. Things about suing somebody is it puts them on blast. A lot of people it's going to show up in various dockets. I'll be getting calls. My last lawsuit against him didn't go through because I couldn't get him served. I tried all over the place. He was in Apia Samoa, the UAE. However, in the process of attempting to sue him, I got the attention of a lot of trademark attorneys who started calling me. If you search Tim Osmond trademark, you'll find that first attempt at suing him for domain squatting. But everything he's done that I already tried to sue for, he's done many times over and worse. The fact that he just attempted to hack 4 times after I filed the lawsuit is going to bite him. And he probably didn't think that I was going to get his IP addresses to have full cooperation from all these companies. He shot himself in the foot too many times. Like, he hadn't done that. If he had just gone quiet after 2018, I probably wouldn't have a chance. But he literally just got himself, he kind of convicted himself publicly multiple times. And I also have something else, written confession. This makes a big difference. I have a written confession, and here's how I got into the telemarketing. Let me go ahead and close that up. The way I got the confession from him is like I was saying, when I was doing telemarketing, I learned how to elicit information from people that they wouldn't ordinarily give. And there's a few techniques, but in this case, I was just observing very closely. Didn't know who he was. He's still anonymous. I was just watching his comments in his YouTube video, refreshing. And I saw someone he knew said something like, "Hey, can you message me? Can you?" And I was like, "Wait, he knows this person?" Once I saw that he knew that person, I cloned that person's email address. I spoofed it, and I emailed him. And I said, "Hey, I just hit you up on YouTube. By the way, how did you get Tim Osmond's accounts pulled?" That's what I did. So he gets an email thinking that it's a message from the guy that YouTube. I throw in an email that looks just like that person, and he brags. He says, "Oh yeah, you got to see this. This is why he's so mad. I shut down 80 of his channels. Let me forward you the email I sent to YouTube." So he forwards me, headers and all, email he sent to YouTube's legal department. In that email, he am this person. This is my voice. I own Infinite Plane Society. Like, he literally gave me a confessional, thinking I was someone else that he was bragging. He sent me about 6 or 7 emails after that, and I learned a lot about him. And then eventually he figured out it was me, but it was too late. 2018, headers and all, November the 1st, is in the hands of the judge right now. And that email goes to legal.trademark.youtube and some numbers, goes right to their legal department. This is why I'm saying, like, I agree that, yeah, he's a fed, he's connected, he's rich, there's no way to touch him. Well, there is, because I caught him. I got everything I needed out of him for recent acts of hacking. I'm working on a criminal indictment. This civil suit that I did just now, $10,000 is nothing. I just needed a way to get some power behind me. So like I said, I don't have power and money, but now because now I'm leveraging this small claims lawsuit to get to listen to me, to read what I've written, and to take action. This is why I think it's going to work. This is how I think I'm going to win. I'm going to win because I've made it impossible for him to dodge this. Unindoctrinated says snitches are snitch on themselves. Well, this is the thing. I realized he was a braggart. Doxed him. He was bragging about his money. That's how I found out the name of the company that he was a part of. I put this together on my own, and then I was able to isolate who he was. I have a list going back years of everybody he's trained when he was with Les Mills. I mean, I know more about him, he knows about me. But before I knew who he was constantly bragging how he was going to destroy me, how this was a game for him. It was always this dynamic of, in fact, he used to send pictures of his car, constantly bragging about money, his income, his lifestyle, the size of his TV screen. And it was, just gross if you think of it. But this is why I'm not bothered at all. Infinite Plane Society, the multimedia organization, we have 150 plus reporters. We're going to continue to do what we're doing and expand. We're going to blow up what we're doing. the best efforts of the government's best hacker only distracted us a little bit. I think it made us stronger because we've learned. I mean, I've learned quite a lot. I never knew how to dox or stalk or counter stalk or ID somebody or sue somebody. Like, I wasn't really involved in any of this stuff. It wasn't a part of my life, but now it is. In fact, I wrote a book, and I'm going to update it on how to dox anybody, how to get rid of trolls. Very, very useful information, but it's gonna need an update. Joined by A. Garcia. Thank you for joining. Dua Sampera says, someone that braggadocious can't be too well connected, or at least whatever protection he had cut off due to a brag-based slip-up. Yeah, he's going to have to become a liability. Look, he's connected to the Trump's birthday. He was actually filming it on his iPhone. The White House Communications Agency, the White House Travel Agency. He's friends with a lot of celebrities as a personal trainer. He knows Eddie Bravo personally. He knows Alex Jones. He knows Joe Rogan. This is why I think this thing is a big scandal. Rogan, Eddie Bravo, Alex Jones, they know the guy that is, and this is the part, it's true to be believed until I force it out there. Like, soon it will be believed, but I've known this for several years. But this person that I'm talking about is behind the Q drops. I mean, there are so many books coming out about Q, and they haven't figured out who he is. Well, we know who he is. We can prove this. We have evidence that that he's part of the Q psyop. So as protected as he is, as connected as he is, I think he just became overconfident that he would eventually run us off. But it hasn't happened. It's certainly not going to happen. And again, like I said, I put yesterday, like, I know for a fact that the judge and YouTube's attorneys have read that YouTube accepted from this person pretending to be me. There's no way to back out of this. They cannot wash their hands of it. He can't settle with me. He can't settle with me because I've made it into a federal case. I mean, he needs to be indicted. He needs to go to jail. Spirit says, the problem is to find a judge that'll go against the Orange Snake group. I had a very simple case against corruption and it was easily dropped. Like I didn't have a case. Yes, it's tricky. And what they immediately did is they immediately tried to have it dismissed, as you would expect. And my response to the dismissal included the evidence. We'll see. And if it doesn't go my way, if the whole system is completely bent and it doesn't, I will still do my best to convict him in the court of public opinion for what it's worth. But no, I mean, look, I have something else too. When you're dealing with cyber squatting, you're dealing with in possession of stolen property. He's in possession of stolen property, multiple domains. Malice has been, I can prove malicious intent by his confessional where he said, this is how I'm going to destroy him. When you include malice, you triple the damages. This is why Fox News is screwed, because they knew they were spreading lies maliciously. They may be hit with, what, more than millions of dollars in damages. 1.6 billion for the 1.6 thing. That's a little bit of a coincidence there. Anyway, things are going great. I think everything's going to work out fine here moving in the future. Flat Earth Revolution says, I've been following you for years. They've been trying to stop you from the start. Exactly, they have. But we're about to overcome the main obstacle that's plagued us for several years. And when that happens, most of you here know, for some reason, he was busy with his anonymous gig. There was a period in 2019 for about 4 months where we weren't censored. And we went from 300 subs to 12,000, just like that, 1,500. And that's going to be the norm as we get situated here. Anyway, thanks for joining. Sound check. Certainly be back later. And I'm definitely turning on the 24/7 audio stream as soon as I possibly can. But when we're live, I am going to be mirroring, which will increase the number of people here. If you want email notifications, is linked at infiniteplainsociety.com. And it's $1 per month. $1 per month. It even includes a free trial. If you want to support the channel, go to infiniteplainsociety.com. There's a number of links, but Look, one more thing here. The purpose to winning, this is a game. He said it was a game. He was rules, breaking laws, etc. But once we win this game, I think you're going to see everything that we've ever put into motion will go back into motion. And we had always invested a lot into art, into music, into the various things that the think tank can do. And I said, success here in the future